Right, to the rest of League One then, and we start at Charlton, where it's been a time of transition. The club has new owners after a bid was accepted by a group represented by their former chief executive, Peter Varney. Their first home game in charge was against Swindon Town. Well, for Charlton, Paul Benson was eligible to start up front after the Addicts lodged an appeal with the FA over his sending off against Colchester on Saturday. Swindon made 4 changes from the side that went down to Bournemouth on Saturday. Commentary comes from Dan O'Hagan.
Long here towards Benson. There's half a handball shot, but here goes to Rackon. Rackon for Reed. Reed's cross, looking for Martin. Here's Johnny Jackson, deflection, in! It came off Morrison, but I'm sure Jackson will claim the goal. Swindon furious, but Charlton lead. New owners have cause to smile. Rackon driving on, Reed's cross blocked away. And Jackson, they thought, I think, a handball there by Jackson before he got the shot away, but Paul Benson here, there's the hand. And then when Jackson shots, comes off Morrison, then loops up high and over. And Smith could not get back to make the save. It's 1-0 Charlton. Timlin, from a Fulham junior, London bought. Rose, neatly done here for O'Brien for Swindon. He's got support too here from Timlin. Timlin's cross, oh, great cross, equalises surely, yes, from Ritchie. It's 2 in 2 games for Matt Ritchie. O'Brien here got the ball back to Michael Timlin. Ritchie got between the 2 defenders here. It's a free first strike on goal, then when the ball comes back off Elliott, he could not refuse the simple chance. And we're all square at the Valley. Jonathan Fortune into the feet of Alan McCormack here, and Fortune again with the invitation to make something happen. Rackon. And Martin for Rackon again. Terry Rackon still there, but it wouldn't quite sit down for him. He never really had the ball under full control. And in the end, Phil Smith was there to make sure he didn't get the ball under control at any time. Daly. And there's O'Brien for Austin, and Daly has to watch this, and he hasn't. It's Charlie Austin! In his 50th league game, his 30th league goal. Well, Daly here for so many years, such a good defender, but this was a lapse, a mistake, an error, simple as that. And the finish from Austin was what he is doing best to make a real name for himself. Daly's lapse, yes, but Austin here has work to do still, and doesn't he do it brilliantly? Jackson towards Benson. This though is Simon Ferry. Ferry, and he's pulled back there by Jackson. That's a clear foul by the Charlton left back, as Ferry meant to chase his own pass almost. It'll be a John Paul McGovern free kick here for Swindon. In by McGovern, not a bad delivery, it's a 3rd goal. And Morrison, who deflected in the Charlton goal at the same end, has now scored for Swindon. McGovern's free kick, and there was Morrison to climb highest, to tower above the Charlton defenders. It's a really good header from the centre-back, and Danny Wilson's team have bounced back from the Bournemouth defeat on New Year's Day in really impressive fashion. Charlie Austin wants to roll the ball into the path of Cuthbert, and now it's Caddis. Caddis off Jackson, another corner for Swindon. In the backyard of one of the pre-season promotion favourites. Morrison's goal, perhaps the clincher. And here he comes again to add his presence. In by Caddis, great ball in, 4th goal. Austin has got his 2nd career brace in the Football League. Austin just stood in there between the defenders to add a trademark clinical finish. Jose Semedo held in towards Akpo Soji's head, and there's Pavel Abbott! Pavel Abbott then with his first league goal for Charlton. It's a good ball in too, and a knockdown from Soji here. Abbott swivels and finishes well. It is, though, surely just mere consolation here with, 3 minutes to go.
We were very fortunate that we got a goal back when we did, because I thought at 1-0 at half time I thought it was a little bit unfair for us, because I thought we played well enough to go in at least level, if not to nudge a scoreline for in our favour. But unfortunately that wasn't the case. But we showed great character to come back as we did, and like I say, particularly at this moment in time when Charlton are doing very well.
For Swindon in our feature game against Charlton, it's proven to be another fruitful season for Charlie Austin, who hasn't now scored in just 7 games in all competitions. But every time he scores, not necessarily good news for Swindon.
No, well, obviously there are now people who are requiring his services outside of Swindon, aren't they? There's a reputed bid of £2 million from a Premiership side. I think it's Birmingham. So this was the perfect stage for him to show people exactly what he can do. And brave header there, but someone who's really started to gain a little bit of form after being injured to start the season. And as you say, now all of a sudden it's a potent threat. And I think someone who's very mature, come out of non-league, hasn't been out of non-league long, but you wouldn't realise that. OK, let's hear from League One fans then, shall we? So, Lizzie, what have you got there for us?
Well, you were just talking about Charlie Austin, Manish. Bob says, how long before Charlie Austin is sold? Well, I guess if what Steve says is true, then sometime before the end of January. Lots of Charlton fans very unhappy with today's result, as you can imagine, but they've kind of been getting progressively unhappy throughout the last few weeks. James says he was really unhappy with the results, and I've heard that there was a bit of a row after today's game, and I've heard from another source that there was a big row, so it doesn't bode well for Phil Parkinson. Connor thinks we never talk about Bournemouth, so here we go. Tom says it seems no matter what setbacks the club faces, like ongoing embargo and losing 2 goal scorers this season, Eddie and the boys always seem to pull through. Andy says, I'm a disgusted and embarrassed Sadler. How can Walsall expect to do well when we sell all our best players and brightest prospects and not replace them? And on that subject, a question for you, Steve, from Gareth and Sarah. They're fed up of big clubs stealing young talent. They want a rule for homegrown players to stop them being taken by the big clubs. Well, there is sort of already a rule, isn't there?
I think so. I think it's either 21 or 20, under 21 or under 24. If you're at a club, then it goes to a tribunal and they set the figure, and obviously then it's down to the clubs to sort of like provide the add-ons and and just to see how far that player can go in his career, and the team that's brought him up will be rewarded accordingly. OK, thanks, Steve.
Cheryl, a Notts County fan, says, great to witness the effect Paul Ince and Alex Ray are having on County. They've given us attacking football that's a pleasure to watch. And just quickly, Ian and Nick, just some of the many Daggers fans really unhappy with the refereeing. They say, we're sick of this small club bias. Just because we're a small club doesn't mean we should get treated any differently. League Two next.